Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live news up here at this hour in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. A look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray. 3
members of the Privileges Committee of Parliament applied to be recused from the hearing determining whether MP for Asin Central Kennedy Ejapong denigrated the House.
A private citizen sues Attorney General over dismissal of chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei.
Also ahead this evening, President Kufuor appoints 4 new justices to the Supreme Court.
And now 2 more persons confirmed dead at Jashe in Bosomche district, bringing the death toll in the last few weeks' reign in the Ashanti region to 12.
Ahead in business this evening, the Ghana Stock Exchange records year-to-date profit of 11.62% in the second quarter after dropping from 35% in April.
And on the international front, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak due to be charged on Wednesday after being arrested by anti-corruption authorities.
#60 segment is brought to you by Premier Health Insurance.
Yeah, England is on the bail. It's playing too defensive. What's happening?
Actually, in the opening minutes of the game, it wasn't exactly the same story.
Yeah,
Colombia were defending. Now, the tides have changed. But of course, it's half-time between England and Colombia, all looking for a place in the quarter-final. One game has been settled earlier today between Sweden and Switzerland, and it was the underdogs, Sweden, who progressed. This tournament is full of surprises. But still, in the spirit of the World Cup, you should know that there's some developing story in Nigeria, where as Nigeria played Argentina, John Mikel Obi, the captain of the Super Eagles, did not know where his father was. He was kidnapped. We'll bring you the latest on that particular story subsequently right here on News 360 with me, Thierry.
A lot more details later on the bulletin with the sports news. But our first story this evening, a private citizen, Fafali Nyonato, has sued the Attorney General over the dismissal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei. Fafali Nyonato is seeking a perpetual injunction on the dismissal of the Electoral Commission boss.
The plaintiff is seeking a declaration that the determination by her ladyship, the Chief Justice, of a prima facie case pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution for the removal of office of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission is inconsistent with Article 130A of the Constitution, as by the said determination, her ladyship, the Chief Justice, usurped the exclusive original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to construe and or define the scope of application of the provisions of the Constitution, particularly Article 44(2) and 146 thereof. A declaration that the committee set up by the Chief Justice pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution to inquire into the petition for removal from office of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission exceeded its powers and also acted in violation of 130A of the Constitution by usurping the exclusive original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to interpret the provisions of the Constitution, among other reliefs. Charlotte Osei and her 2 deputies, Amadou Sule and Georgino Pokwamankwa, were dismissed by President Akufo-Addo last week on grounds of incompetence and procurement breaches at the Election Management Body. The committee set up by Chief Justice Sophia Akufo to investigate separate complaints brought against the 3 persons by Ghanaian citizens recommended their removal. In 2017, the 5-member committee investigated alleged acts of corruption involving Charlotte Osei and her 2 deputies. Some staff of the EC petitioned Nana Akufo-Addo to remove Charlotte Osei from office over allegations of fraud and financial malfeasance as well as abuse of office. Charlotte Osei also countered alleged corruption against her deputies, insisting that she has done nothing wrong and only been hunted out because she is fighting internal graft. The President, in accordance with the Constitution, forwarded the petition to the Chief Justice to look into the matter.
Meanwhile, pressure group Coalition for Social Justice has described President Akufo-Addo's decision to dismiss Charlotte Osei as chairperson of the Electoral Commission as legally bankrupt, harsh and politically motivated. At news conference in Accra, the group said the petition that called for the dismissal of the EC chair was incompetent and should have been disregarded by the President. Here's a report by Godfred Tenam.
The convener of the group, Samuel Jemfi, said President Akufo-Addo assumed the role of a legal consultant by providing unsolicited advice to the counsel of the petitioners for him to submit the names of the alleged petitioners.
From the outset, it was clear that the alleged petition which was forwarded to the President was incompetent and legally unrecognizable. This is because it was undated, unsigned, and fell short of the many constitutional requirements of a petition as established by the Supreme Court of Ghana in the adjourned case. In view of these patent defects, the alleged petition was void at birth and had to be disallowed by the President, who, as a constitutional lawyer of many years standing, cannot feign ignorance of this trite legal knowledge.
The group pointed out that, per the dismissal of Charlotte Osei, the new Patriotic Party (NPP) has fulfilled its long orchestrated ambition of having the EC chair dismissed.
Right from the day of her appointment, Mrs. Charlotte Osei has been a victim of jaundiced resentment from the NPP and its elements. The derogatory and misogynistic attacks by Kennedy Ejapon and other leading figures of the NPP on the person of the EC boss, and the many attacks on her integrity by the General Secretary of the NPP, Mr. John Bodu, the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Nana Obribwai, the nephew of the President, Gabi Ochredakon, etc., are still fresh in our minds.
The group argued the Chief Justice, Justice Sophia Akufo, acted unlawfully in establishing a prima facie case on the basis of the incompetent petition.
We hold the view that the Chief Justice of Ghana acted unlawfully when she propounded a new legal definition of a petition in contravention of the decision of the Supreme Court in the Ajaychun case.
The group has served notice to stage a series of protests, petitioning the African Union, ECOWAS and the United Nations on the dismissal of the EC chair. They also indicated their readiness to seek legal redress on the matter should Charlotte Osei not take up the matter herself legally.
Let's just stay the same on this particular issue. While civil society organization Grassroots Mobilizes Network has called on government to, as a matter of urgency, reinstate Charlotte Osei and her two deputies. At a news conference in Accra, the group expressed reservations in what they termed the swift nature by which action was taken based on recommendation describing the president's directive as an abuse of office.
The Grassroots Mobilizers Network, GMNet, expressed dismay at the president's swift action, indicating it was geared towards partisan interest. The group expressed reservations in what they described as the swift nature by which action was taken based on the recommendations.
When it came to the petition against the EC chair and her deputies, which was written by faceless people and described by many well-meaning Ghanaians as fraudulent, our president acted swiftly and told Ghanaians he was just a postmaster. We wonder if the president truly understands what it meant by responsible leadership.
The group alleged the NPP's plan to remove the EC chairperson started from the time of her appointment.
After her appointment on June 2015, as EC chair by former President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the current First Gentleman and his party apparatchiks vowed to remove her even in opposition.
David Saba said members would not rest until the president reinstates the EC chairperson and her 2 deputies.
It is very important. The EC is an institution that is very critical to our democracy. You know that the EC is the only arbiter as far as our elections are concerned. And we have been saying that we need strong institutions and not strong men. And if the president himself, an apostle of the rule of law, would behave in this manner, it leaves much to be desired.
As a non-partisan society, they have pledged to deal legitimately with every national issue that may result in chaos.
Meanwhile, the new Patriotic Party has asked the Ghana Police Service to arrest those who are inciting the public against the president on the dismissal of the EC boss, Charlotte Osei. Now, at a news conference in Accra, Acting General Secretary John Bwedu requested the security to stop anyone who fails to comply with the Public Order Act before embarking on a demonstration.
Acting General Secretary John Bwedu expressed concern about comments made by some sections of the public against the president. He recounted comments by some members of the opposition NDC, describing the president as deliberately seeking a dismissal of the EC boss, and requested the security agencies to act swiftly and arrest those peddling such accusations.
Some comments that will also incite people shouldn't be tolerated. I think that Sam George, for instance, on his Facebook page, I think Kofi Adams as well, based some comments, I think that it is below the belt. And we only want to, as good citizens of this country, to alert the security agencies to be on the lookout for such comments that will not augur well for our peace.
The NDC has served notice to demonstrate over the dismissal of the EC boss and her 2 deputies.
If you want to do it for 1 year, we, New Patriotic Party, are a party, a democratic party that we even protect the right for people to demonstrate. We have demonstrated over a very long time and number of times. But we will not accept a situation where people will decide to demonstrate spontaneously without going through the Public Order Act.
The MPP says it would forward evidence of those inciting the public to the police to assist them in investigations.
Now, meanwhile, the new Patriotic Party says the dismissal of the Electoral Commission boss will not affect its upcoming delegates Congress in Koforidua and the Eastern Region capital. Speaking to the media, Acting General Secretary John Bwedu said the party had concluded discussions with the commission prior to the dismissal.
The Acting General Secretary noted that 12 polling stations were created prior to the dismissal of the EC boss and her deputies.
Most often, it is not the commissioners that come to do it. Once in a while, for purposes of the media, after the elections, then you see some of the commissioners coming, particularly Amadou Sule. But the real work is done by people under them. They are regional directors, they are district directors, and particularly they are director of elections. So we are in touch with them, and I don't think that, because when they were fighting, we still organized our polling station, electoral area constituency elections successfully.
All 41 contestants vying for various positions within the party have been vetted. 14 out of the 41 candidates are contesting for Nasara coordinator. 6,000 delegates are expected to cast their ballots and elect national executives for the party.
I am pleased to announce that we shall be distributing complimentary copies of this constitution to every delegate as part of the conference of Ines. And here we have with me the amended constitution of our party. So this is now the constitution of our party, and it replaces all other constitution that has been amended and adopted. So this is the new constitution of the new Patriotic Party.
The Acting General Secretary John Bwedu cautioned members not to breach security arrangements during the elections.
All party members adhere strictly to directions that will be given to them. We expect that they will comport themselves just as they've done at our polling station, electoral area, constituency and regional conferences. And you can all see the peaceful nature of our conferences.
So Friday, July 6th and end on Sunday, July 8th is Building a Stronger Party and Delivering Prosperity for Ghana.
Let's go to Parliament now. The Privileges Committee of Parliament probing the Member of Parliament for their Sin Central constituency, Kennedy Japan, for denigrating the House, adjourned sitting indefinitely owing to the absence of 3 members of the committee who applied to recuse themselves. Counsel for Kennedy Japan, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, explained the 3 members had applied to be recused from the hearing. Our parliamentary correspondent, Evelyn Tengma, has more.
Sitting delayed by 49 minutes. Chairman of the committee apologized for the late start, but the respondent, Kennedy Japan, was not available, and the chairman asked that they wait for him as he was on his way. The Asin Central MP and his counsel came later and proceedings started. Counsel of the respondent, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, raised 4 objections. He referred to a newspaper publication which suggested that a member of the committee in the first sitting had indicated that the committee saw merit in the case before it, arguing it creates a likelihood bias. The second, he said, was a likelihood of unfairness, saying the motion which was moved in the plenary was not seconded and carried, therefore making the motion defective. The third was that evidence upon which the complainant made had not been made available to the respondent for study, adding, until that is done, proceedings should not continue. The final one was that some members of the committee had recused themselves from the committee.
We, the undersigned members of Parliament, hereby, fortified by Order 1644 of the Rules of Parliament, disqualify ourselves from the ongoing investigations involving Honorable Kennedy Ohine Japan. As you may be well aware, the respondent is the caucus chairman for the Central Region, and all of us have a close relationship with him. We are unable, therefore, to discharge our duties without bias. Please accept our decision to recuse ourselves. Most grateful to you, sir. Signed, Honorable Cynthia Morrison, MP for Agona West, Honorable Nana Iya, MP for Gomua Central, Honorable Samuel Nsuwajan, MP for Upper Densha West. It would be proper for the purpose of due process to follow in full the procedure required for their replacement so that the hearing may proceed.
The chairman, however, overruled all the objections, but lawyers for the respondent stood on their grounds.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, we take very serious reservations about the ruling that this is overruled because, Mr. Speaker, it is pretty clear. You have no discretion. It is that you consider their letter, and if you so approve, they leave. And if they leave, the matter then, as a matter of mandatory exercise, is referred back to the Speaker, who then makes the next move.
Your argument is on the basis that there's a matter before us. I checked with my clerks. What you have is not before the committee. The committee cannot take a decision on any such matter. And that's why I said we will incorporate our reasons in the ruling.
The principle is also that when a committee, on an occasion like this, is invited to look at a document, it will take judicial notice. This is very relevant, and fortunately, the authors of the document are members of this committee and are before the committee.
You make it appear as if we are deliberately suppressing information when the thing is not before us.
Sitting was subsequently suspended.
So let's just say a bit further on this particular issue that happened in Parliament today. And I'll go to Skype where Dr. Rashid Rehman is joining me from Namibia. He's attending, in fact, having a training for the clerks of the Parliament of Commonwealth Nations in Namibia now. Dr. Dramani, thank you for your time this evening via Skype. Now, before today, already this matter is in the public domain. The general public have had to deliberate on this. What do you make of all these happenings? How does it impact on the expectations that the public has of this privileges committee?
Thank you very much. I think that, first of all, you know, when this happened, if I'm correct, by my count, I think that's more than maybe 5 or 6 instances of scandals that have befallen this 7th Parliament. Already, you know, I believe quite well what the views of Ghanaians are in terms of the credibility of Parliament to deal with issues such as this, particularly issues that concern one of their own. You remember the cash for seeds scandal, and so on and so forth, and the outcomes of this. So already, Parliament was starting on a premise that Ghanaians do not trust that something good was going to come out of this. And the drama that we saw today, I think, is just adding to that mix. You know, for me, I am a little bit curious. I thought that many Ghanaians believed the honorable member when he said he didn't have a case to answer and that the tapes will prove him right, and that most of what the petitioner put before Parliament was taken out of context and so on. So I was really looking forward to this day so that the honorable member would have his day before the committee and prove his innocence. But you know, hearing what happened and all this drama, I think honestly, I think we need to take things serious as a country.
But Rehman, you made a critical point there about the perception that members of the general public have formed about the Privileges Committee or Parliament itself punishing their own. That is, if they're found guilty. What does this committee, I mean the Privileges Committee, have to do to be able to at least have the public trust in the outcome of their work eventually?
Well, I thought that when your colleague was reporting, I was very encouraged that initially the chairman of the committee, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, stood his ground and said that he was not going to suspend the proceedings. Look, I don't understand that, you know, members of the Central Region Caucus, because Honorable Ejapon is their chairperson, are recusing themselves. I mean, I think they should sit in that committee and speak the truth. Number two, I think it's also very curious that the lawyers who are defending him are honorable members of Parliament.
Right.
You know, we want to live in a country where we can trust that there's an arm of government that can hold the executive to account, that can hold all of us to account. But that starts with the integrity of that institution itself.
Right.
In fact, these are some of the things that we are discussing here in Namibia. That, look, I mean, beyond everything else, the challenges that we have in Africa, I think, is the sincerity, the integrity of the people who lead us. That is in big question. And I think we see...
Great point. Fantastic, Doc. Great. And I want to say thank you very much for this critical point that you make. I'm grateful for your time this evening. Dr. Rashid Rehman joining us from Namibia, where he is running a training for the clerks of the parliaments of the Commonwealth nations there. That's all I have here on News 360. Let's go on to our MTN video report for tonight, Natalie.
Absolutely, Alfred. On MTN Video Report this evening, our citizen journalist, Solomon Adams, highlights the poor state of a road at Katamanso, a Shamine municipality.
This is a very big gutter. It comes all the way from Oibi. The water comes down from Ebri and then all the way from here. Then it moves to Zenu down It happened some time ago. Cars were stuck here. No car can be able to pass. Even motorcars, Aboboya, they can't even pass. Last year around November, it took somebody away like that, and then it led to death. You know, compact the thing well. Yes. We there so far. I am Solomon Adams reporting from Katamanso, Ashaman Municipality.
Well, a rather worrying one there. Remember that you can also send your video report via WhatsApp number. That's 055-1433-044. 055-1433-044.
So live here on News 360. We're live on DSTV channel 279 all across the world, on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook. We'll be back shortly with some business news. Do stay.
Hello, good evening, and thanks for staying with us right here on News 360. My name is Nanekuya Mensah Brampa, coming your way with business tonight. We begin from the Ghana Stock Exchange, where, as at the end of the second quarter, it has recorded a year-to-date profit of 11.62% after falling from its peak at 35% in April. TV3 Business takes a look at the top 5 best performing equities for the first half of the year.
As at the end of June 2018, the GSE All-Share Index stood at 2,879.43 points, representing a year-to-date profit of 11.62%. Similarly, the GSE Financial Stocks Index closed the half-year at 11.78% year-to-date. The worth of listed companies on the exchange stood at 55 billion cedis. Analysts believe the loss of excitement on the market is informed by the numerous IPOs currently ongoing.
We're all hoping that the MTN IPO will succeed. In fact, I'm hoping it will be oversubscribed, big as it is. If that happens, we will have a quick turnaround of how things have gone, because once it starts trading and there are price appreciations, there's the likelihood that it will turn around the situations. And we may even end up closing the year on a better note than the returns we made even at the end of the first quarter.
The top 5 best performing equities for half year 2018 is led by SIC, which has appreciated 290% in value. Analysts believe its impressive price appreciation is partly based on its good performance and the end of its legal battles.
Even when it was trading at below its IPO price, people had made money off it, because imagine somebody who had bought the equity when it hits 9 pesos. If the pricing even sells at 10 or 15 or 20 pesos, which was compared to the IPO price lower, the person will still be making some very good profit. Thankfully, it's now climbed above their IPO price, and we foresee that there will be a sustenance in their performance, which may lead to a higher price performance for the equity.
The other top 4 gainers are PZ Company, which has gained 125%, Mechanical Lloyd Company, 83.33%, Societe Generale Ghana, 53.66%, and GOIL, 48.70%.
For SG, investors still anticipate a lot of gains or a lot of returns to be made from that equity. So I'm hopeful that even as it's hit a peak, come down, and it's still climbing up, we will see some very good returns in Societe Generale.
All right, so I'm sure it will be safe to say it's a good time to buy some shares, but remember to talk to a broker when you decide to do so. Let's do something on aviation. And Air Namibia, which resumed operations in Ghana on June 29, intends to make Ghana its hub for airline operations in West Africa. Namibia's High Commissioner to Ghana, Charles Joseph, made this known at a ceremony on the return of the airline to Ghana.
Air Namibia was operating at Accra-Johannesburg Windhoek route until 2014. General Manager for Commercial Services at Air Namibia, Javier Masul, noted the airline would resume its best practices after resolving issues of operational efficiency. Air Namibia will operate 4 times a week with transit flights from Accra to Lagos and Windhoek, and same on return route.
Yes, the days of operations are Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So our schedule is designed in such a way that we are able to carry corporate traffic people going for leisure, as well as those visiting friends and relatives, for weekends included.
He said an embassy in Accra guarantees around-the-clock visa issuance. Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Charles Joseph, said Air Namibia's return to Ghana should boost trade between the two countries and beyond. He encouraged the staff of the airline to remain professional.
And ultimately, when they fly, as I said, when there are airlines flying, people can connect with each other. People can trade better with each other. People can appreciate what other countries offer and can actually do tourism, can do culture, can do education, can do business. So all those things are what we want to do.
Managing Director for Air Namibia in charge of West Africa, Peter Adai, encouraged various African airlines to take advantage of the huge air travel market on the continent.
As an airline and as stakeholders, we must help to sustain this operation this time around. We are now making travel within the sub-region very reliable and competitive. Ours to ensure reliability and seamless connectivity within the African continent.
Air Namibia anticipates closing a gap in the market by competitively connecting Southern Africa to West Africa in less than 6 hours.
To some more, and Total Petroleum Ghana Limited has introduced the first ever solar-powered fuel service station in Ghana at Tema Main Harbour Branch to serve its cherished customers in Tema and its environs.
Speaking at the launch, the managing director of Total Petroleum Ghana, Eric Fanchene, said the world's energy future and that of Ghana's is being shaped by the dual challenge of climate change and the growing demands for electricity. The need for renewable energies, therefore, being considered globally, particularly solar, have become crucial in the new environment. He added, Total Ghana's goal is to solarize at least 50% of their network of 250 service stations within 5 years and to continue to contribute to the energy enhancement of industry standard.
To become local entrepreneur as we support their initial working capital requirements. We also provide various solar solutions from lamps, kiosks, and logistics support for Ghanaian startups such as EEG.
The Deputy Minister of Energy, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, said the Energy Ministry is happy to know that Total Petroleum Ghana Limited, mainly known for marketing petroleum products, has not only transformed its station to be solar-powered, but it has also diversified its energy portfolio in Ghana to include renewable energy solutions to business. He hinted that the Ministry of Energy has commenced the implementation of the scaling up renewable energy programs with the objective of delivering over 55 mini-grids, 38,000 stand-alone solar home systems, and 15,000 net meter solar with storage systems for homes and small-medium enterprises across the country.
Ghana is well endowed with renewable energy resources which are yet to be fully exploited. And these include biomass, hydropower, wind potential, among others.
Director of Human Resource and Administration at National Petroleum Authority, Kojo Abiu Jackson, noted that Total Petroleum Ghana has been in the forefront of a number of such innovations in the industry, with the understanding that loss of one life due to petroleum-related fire is one death too many. There is the need for all stakeholders in the downstream industry to aim at zero accident in all retail outlets.
We are here to celebrate another innovative milestone with Total, as it commissions and has just commissioned its solarized service station.
All right, so that'll do for business tonight. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. There's more on 3news.com. Alfred has something from the presidency.
Absolutely, Nanekia. Now, President Akufo-Addo has ordered that all flags should fly at half-mast in the next 5 days in memory of late Vice President Pakwesi Bekoye-Mensah. The president gave the directive when the family of the late statesman called on him at the Jubilee House here in Accra.
The family of the late former vice president, led by his brother Jabesh Mr. Arthur, was at the presidency to formally inform President Akufo-Addo about the demise of Kwesi Mr. Arthur. Jabesh Mr. Arthur said his late brother wished to have a simple burial.
He didn't want anything elaborate or too elaborate. He wanted something simple, something solemn, and something elegant and dignified. We want to have a service on Friday, and at that service we will confirm to the general public the arrangements that all the parties, the church, the family, and the state and everybody, we have agreed to go on.
President Akufo-Addo, describing the former vice president as a great asset, said he will be accorded a state burial.
Though he was a very fine public servant, he's a man of dignity and humility, conducted himself very well in the public space of our country. I'm a little bit touched by his wishes for a simple, solemn, dignified burial. There's a part about it where we have to part company. He's no longer just another member of the family. He is state property. He's a high-ranking official of our state, a man who was vice president, who therefore could have become the president of Ghana, is not, with respect, an ordinary person who has to be treated in the normal manner. So, to some extent, those wishes will have to give way to the status that he had.
A book of condolence will from Wednesday, July 4, be open at the Accra International Conference Center across the country and all Ghana embassies across the world. Flags will also fly at half-mast for the next 5 days.
On to other stories this evening. 2 more persons have been confirmed dead at Jachi in the Busumtre district of the Ashanti region after 5 days of heavy rains. This brings the death toll of the region floods to 12. 150 residents at Esreso have also been rescued after their homes were submerged. Here's a report by Benjamin Edu.
More people in parts of the Ashanti region continue to be displaced as homes are submerged in a 5-day downpour recorded in parts of the region. The rains resulted in loss of lives and destruction of property. Some communities have still been cut off from the regional capital, Kumasi. Affected flood victims were trapped in their homes. The Odan River, one of the biggest rivers in the region, has overflown its banks, forcing the water to spill to nearby communities. Areas such as Esreso, Jachi, Dompoase, Aprabo New Site, Adeja, and others have all been affected in the disaster. A joint operation of the National Disaster Management Organization and Ghana National Fire Service has been out since Saturday to rescue victims who were trapped in their homes.
You're watching News 360 from the News Hub here at Adisawe, Kanda. We've got some news from the world of sports coming up shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back to News 360. Now, Head of Operations at the National Ambulance Service, Foster Ansong Brejan, is recommending training in basic emergency medical services for gyms. This, he noted, will enable them provide basic life support services if the need arises.
The head of operations at the National Ambulance Service, Foster Ansong Brejan, was reacting to reported series of events before the death of the former Vice President, Kwesi Mr. Arthur.
The personnel who actually operate such gyms to be trained in emergency medical service, at least resuscitation, because the kind of thing that they are doing there are very vigorous exercise and other things. So the personnel there must be well trained in how to resuscitate somebody, especially in CPR, first aid.
He was quick to add that another ambulance service might have been called since the National Ambulance Service Dispatch Center was not contacted.
My checks from our dispatch center indicates that nobody actually called the National Ambulance Service for this particular emergency. So National Ambulance Service was not called. And I'm saying this with all the checks that I've done at our dispatch center.
He recommended compulsory first aid training in the country's educational curriculum.
It's very important that if we start from the schools, for them to know how to do basic life support training like CPR, first aid, and those kind of things, it will help us. Because natural facts, every home should have somebody who knows how to do these things.
On the international front this evening, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has been arrested by anti-corruption authorities and is due to be charged on Wednesday. Najib, who has long been plagued with allegations of corruption, has also been accused of pocketing $700 million, equivalent of £517 million from State Development Fund, IMDb. Now go for some entertainment news.
Billions of dollars are unaccounted for from the fund set up by Mr. Najib. He has been under investigation since his shock election loss in May. Najib denies any wrongdoing. According to a statement by the 1MDB Special Task Force, Najib was arrested at 14:35 local time at his house in relation to matters dealing with SRC, a subsidiary of 1MDB. He will be charged at 8:30 on Wednesday at the Kuala Lumpur High Court. Police say they recovered $273 million in luxury goods and cash from a raid in June, calling the seizure of valuables the biggest in Malaysian history. Jewelry accounted for the biggest portion of the seizure, with the most expensive item being a $1.6 million diamond and gold necklace.
There's more international news on 3news.com. Let's now get into the world of entertainment for some entertainment news.
Hi there, good evening. Let's settle down for some entertainment news on News 360. We start off with some rather bad news because rapper Kwakase and his wife are reported to have lost their newborn baby just 24 hours after delivery at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital here in Accra. Confirming the news, the rapper's manager, Kelvin Agri, said the baby died out of heart complications. After delivery, the doctor said there is a problem with the baby. The complications were with the heart. The child didn't survive. We give everything to God. And that's from Kelvin. Well, our heart goes out to Kwakase and the family as well. From one bad news into another. Well, so you know that Nigerian reggae artist Ras Kimono's passed. He'll be laid to rest on August 25th, 2018. Aged 60, Kimono died on June 10th, 2018 after a short illness. Ras Kimono had his big break in 1989 when he released the first album, Under Pressure, which sold in Africa and beyond. The reggae legend, who rose to fame in the 1980s, is credited with other hits including Rumba Style. And that's about it for entertainment news tonight. My name is Miriam. Catch me on the Urban Blend on 3FM 92.7 at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Hi, Alfred.
Yeah, well,
Miriam.
I miss him. Under
Sad
pressure.
news, sad
Absolutely.
news,
yeah.
But it's good. We all go.
How old were you at the time it was released?
I'm 10.
That's a secret.
I want to say thank you so much for spending your 60 minutes with us here on News 360. My name is Alfred Akansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Visit our website. It's 3news.com for some more news. Remember, news at 10. We'll simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Thanks so much for watching. Have an incredible evening.